The Indian Air Force is the air arm of the Indian Armed Forces. Its complement of personnel and aircraft assets ranks fourth amongst the air forces of the world. Its primary mission is to secure Indian airspace and to conduct aerial warfare during armed conflict. It was officially established on 8 October 1932 as an auxiliary air force of the British Empire, which honoured India's aviation service during World War II with the prefix Royal. After India gained independence from United Kingdom in 1947, the name Royal Indian Air Force was kept and served in the name of Dominion of India. With the government's transition to a republic in 1950, the prefix Royal was removed. Since 1950, the IAF has been involved in 4 wars with neighbouring Pakistan and 1 with People's Republic of China. Other major operations undertaken by the IAF include Operation Vijay, Operation Meghdoot, Operation Cactus and Operation Pumalai. The IAF's mission expands beyond engagement with hostile forces, with the IAF participating in United Nations peacekeeping missions. The President of India holds the rank of Supreme Commander of the IAF. As of 1 July 2017, 39,576 personnel are in service with the Indian Air Force. The Chief of Air Staff, an Air Chief Marshal, is a 4-star officer and is responsible for the bulk of operational command of the Air Force. There is never more than 1 serving ACM at any given time in the IAF. The rank of Marshal of the Air Force has been conferred by the President of India on 1 occasion in history, to Arjun Singh. On 26 January 2002, Singh became the first and so far only 5-star rank officer of the IAF. The IAF's mission is defined by the Armed Forces Act of 1947, the Constitution of India, and the Air Force Act of 1950. It decrees that in the aerial battle space, defense of India and every part thereof including preparation for defense and all such acts as may be conducive in times of war to its prosecution and after its termination to effective demobilization. In practice, this is taken as a directive, meaning the IAF bears the responsibility of safeguarding Indian airspace and thus furthering national interests in conjunction with the other branches of the armed forces. The IAF provides close air support to the Indian Army troops on the battlefield as well as strategic and tactical airlift capabilities. The Integrated Space Cell is operated by the Indian Armed Forces, the Civilian Department of Space, and the Indian Space Research Organization. By uniting the civilian-run space exploration organizations and the military faculty under a single integrated space cell, the military is able to efficiently benefit from innovation in the civilian sector of space exploration, and the civilian departments benefit as well. The Indian Air Force, with highly trained crews, pilots, and access to modern military assets, provides India with the capacity to provide rapid response, evacuation, search and rescue operations, and delivery of relief supplies to affected areas via cargo aircraft. The IAF provided extensive assistance to relief operations during natural calamities such as the Gujarat cyclone in 1998, the tsunami in 2004, and North India floods in 2013. The IAF has also undertaken relief missions such as Operation Rainbow in Sri Lanka. The Indian Air Force was established on 8 October 1932 in British India as an auxiliary air force of the Royal Air Force. The enactment of the Indian Air Force Act 1932 stipulated out their auxiliary status and enforced the adoption of the Royal Air Force uniforms, badges, brevets and insignia. On 1 April 1933, the IAF commissioned its first squadron, No. 1 Squadron, with 4 Westland Wapiti biplanes and 5 Indian pilots. The Indian pilots were led by British RAF Commanding Officer Flight Lieutenant Cecil Bouchier. During World War II, the IAF played an instrumental role in halting the advance of the Japanese army in Burma, where the first IAF airstrike was executed. The target for this first mission was the Japanese military base in Arakan, after which IAF strike missions continued against the Japanese airbases at My Hong Son, Chiang Mai and Chiang Rai in northern Thailand. The IAF was mainly involved in strike, close air support, Aerial reconnaissance, bomber escort and pathfinding missions for RAF and USAAF heavy bombers. RAF and IAF pilots would train by flying with their non-native air wings to gain combat experience and communication proficiency. Besides operations in the Burma theater, IAF pilots participated in air operations in North Africa and Europe. In addition to the IAF, many native Indians and some 200 Indians resident in Britain volunteered to join the RAF and Women's Auxiliary Air Force. One such volunteer was Sergeant Salendra Eknath Sukthankar, who served as a navigator with No. 83 Squadron. Sukthankar was commissioned as an officer, and on 14 September 1943, received the DFC. Squadron leader Sukthankar eventually completed 45 operations, 14 of Th.